Good morning, it's Paul Clegg here, and I have the absolute pleasure to be talking with Zoisa Holder this morning. Zoisa is in the wellness sphere, and particularly when it comes to movement. And if you were to look at her website, you'll see that she is very, very energetic. Zoisa, welcome.
Thank you very much, Paul. Lovely to be with you this morning.
There's probably a lot of people out there that actually realize that with this lockdown that they need to be moving more, etc. And you seem to be a movement specialist. In fact, your core message is about move better, feel free. Before we go into the different techniques that you have, what do you mean by move better, feel free?
For me, moving better is all about being able to move with ease, pain-free. And a lot of the time, I know for myself personally, when I was younger, I'm kind of late 40s now. I didn't really think about how I moved, but then I started to have tight, achy, stiff bits. And particularly after I'd had a few operations, I just felt like when I was walking, or if I wanted to run, or when I went to my fitness class or was doing Pilates, movements just weren't the same. It either took me a little bit more effort, or it was like things were sticking, and I was just like, there's got to be, it can't just be me that's feeling like this. And so for me, it's like our bodies and our whole kind of biocomputer. It's like we're built to be able to move, but then the challenge happens. Everyday life, stress, strain, and tension gets into our systems. And think of it like a computer program with loads of windows open. The system runs a bit slower. It might kind of falter, or you get that little wheel that goes round and round and round. It's like delayed reaction. And our bodies really are the same thing. And so for me, if you move better, then there's less wear and tear on the joints. There's less low back and compression in the low back, neck. So the spaces in your body are there. And then in terms of feeling free, when the body's aligned, has less stress in the system, then it feels much lighter. There's much more of a flow to the movement. And it's like you can pick that thing off the floor or reach down for the cupboard, tie up your shoelace. And there's just much more of an ease about things.
I just thought it was an age thing, and considering the comment you made about the computer, maybe I just maybe need a reboot, and I'm not sure what that is. You've just described there the way in which that you have felt yourself. I mean, what is your background, and what made you start putting this into practice and sharing it with others?
So my background is dance. So I think since I was about 3, I've loved movement and I've loved to dance. I was actually born in Guyana, South America, and then moved over to England when I was about 6.5, danced when I was little, and then went into do a performing arts dance course after doing like a brief BTEC in business. My degree is in dance and drama with sports studies. And then I went on to do a PGCE to teach dance in secondary schools. Then from there, I went on to teach teachers in primary schools how to teach dance. So I've always had that dance, movement, fitness, and loved and was fascinated by the body and how we move. So really that kind of got me on the journey. And then I just thought, I really love doing this. And I just used to teach as a hobby, kids. I've taught from kind of 3 to 93. And then worked in leisure centres, halls, schools. I worked on the cruise ships for about 9 months as a fitness instructor. And I just found that the more I know, the more I wanted to know. So that led me into, doing massage, Reiki, energy work. Then after I was diagnosed with a fibroid, so I had to have, which is kind of like a non-cancerous growth in my kind of like abdominal room area. So I had a C-section to have that removed. And that's one of the first things that I was just like, I used to have core muscles, everything used to work okay. And it wasn't. I had loads of neck tension after that, and I found lots of aching feet. So that was the first thing that made me go, well, everything that I would normally do isn't working. Why is that? And then literally within a year, I was diagnosed with skin cancer on my calf. So I had another operation on my left calf, and also we weren't sure about another mole, so I had like my other foot cut open and operated on. And then I was like, my feet weren't moving the same, and I was kept twisting my ankle. And I was like, but I'm doing the exercises, or just kind of, they just tell you to go about your everyday movements. And I was like, no, I'm sorry, it's not working. And then I did a whole heap of training on kind of the movement repatterning and getting the brain involved. And so really making more of that mental connection, and how do we work with the neuroplasticity. So the brain can learn new things, but you have to be really conscious and mindful about how you're working. So I went down more of that kind of rehab, did my training with for Parkinson's and neurological conditions, but I still wasn't satisfied with the answer. So I then started learning more about fascia. So as a fitness instructor, we kind of just learn about the bones and the skeleton and the muscles, and that's it. But the fascia is like the soft tissue, and the fascial system is in, through, and around everything. So I think for the past 3 or 4 years, I've been learning more about that scar work, trained as a scar work practitioner, to add to all my kind of hands-on massage skills that I use. And I've just found that really you've got to look at the body in a total picture. So if you're looking to just get fit and want to improve how you work, then my job, as I see it, is to just help you see and understand more about what is going on physically with you. How are you moving? Where are there any compensation patterns? And everybody has them. If you're in your body walking around, you sit a lot, or you're on your feet all day, the body compensates to keep you balanced and upright and getting from A to B and looking after the kids and everything. So we all have it. We don't notice it until you start to get that little niggle and ache and pain, and then you're like, oh, I'll deal with it later. Or you kind of like tune those things out until it becomes more of a chronic thing, or it just happens out of the blue, but you don't know why. But the messaging and the is always there, but we kind of tune it out, or we're just so busy in thinking about things that you have to do that we don't actually spend the time connecting to the body. Or if we do, it's like, well, what is it trying to tell me? So for me, I've kind of pulled all my education and knowledge, and I'm still learning and currently doing a Touch for Health course. But yeah, understanding so that you can then move better and feel free.
If somebody comes to you have to have a consultancy. Do you have to consult with them first of all, the way a chiropractor might?
Yes, I do have an initial consultation. So in that session, you can expect that I will take a full client history. So what's been going on, injuries, soft tissue injuries, operations, and then I will look at your standing posture. So how are you when you're just standing upright? I also look at your sitting posture. How are you when you walk and move? And then from there, it gives me an idea. So visually, I can look, and it's just like if the arm is slightly out of alignment or anything, then I will tell you what I see. And what I love, I have 2 studios. So I operate in Wales with a colleague. I teach at Pilates Body Aligned, and we have some lovely mirrors. And so what I do is to just help you see and understand what I'm seeing. Because if you get it, if I can help you see it or help you understand it, then in my experience, people are more likely to help themselves more. And it's like, I haven't got a magic wand, but my role is to help you help you. with my knowledge and my expertise. And so, yes, if you have medical conditions or injuries, I get referrals from chiropractors, osteopaths. Often people will be in pain, or they'll just happen upon my website and want to see me. But generally, there's an underlying reason. I want to start getting fit, but I do need to be aware of my back. I've heard that Pilates can help. There's no one solution fits everybody. So why your body is doing that compensatory pattern and what will help you initially is we put it together in a program. So if I need to get hands-on with you in a session, I'll go hands-on and do either some massage or some soft tissue work. And then I have, you could probably see these rollers behind me. So they're not the same as normal hard foam rollers. These are special kind of like melt rollers. So I've done all the levels of training with that, and that is to help to bring more fluid to the tissues. You can't do it just by drinking alone. If you imagine a dehydrated sponge, that's how, or honeycomb, that's how our tissues get from repetitive movement, a lot of sitting, or just really a lot of I sit for a bit and then I'm going to go for it for like an hour on the treadmill or running on the road. So anything where you're stretch, like elastic band, lots repetitive movement, or just compression over a long time, i.e. sitting for a long time, or even standing on your feet. And so by doing the different techniques, we can help pull fluid cellularly. And there's nothing else apart from the melt method that has been created and designed to do that. It's like your own personal massage.
What is the melt method? I've noticed that on your website, MELT. Does that stand for something, or?
So the melt method is hands-off bodywork self-treatment. You can either work with the rollers you just saw, or we have these little balls. So you can do it, it's as easy as doing like a little hand treatment. That's kind of just a couple of moves. I can do it in 5 minutes to just help my hands move much more easily with less effort. So we often, if you've got neck pain, some of that might be coming from the hands, or some of it might be coming from just that computer tension, face, neck. So using either the ball or the foam rollers in as little as 10 minutes, you can be moving better and feeling just looser, freer, lighter within your body. So the steps that I would recommend somebody takes is, well, the first point of call is deciding, okay, am I happy with where I'm at, or do I want to make a change? And then if you want to make a change, where is your comfort zone at? So maybe it's a case of you find a couple of people, and I'm happy when I get emails or conversation from people, I pick up the phone and I go, okay, what do you want? And we have a little conversation. So I guess it's like a free consultation. So you want to know more about my services. I've also done some videos so that you can see, okay, what is a Pilates class like? What happens for a massage? What happens in a Zumba class? So that visually you can see, oh, okay, I think I can do that. One of the things I would say that people often think with Pilates is you just lie on the floor, doesn't really look like you're doing anything, and wave your arms and legs around.
That's appealing. That's appealing to me.
Yeah. And so, yes, we do lie on the floor. Yes, we do move our arms and legs around, but actually there's a lot to it. That time is for you to connect back in and go, okay, how am I moving my body? Is it ideal, or where do I need to refocus? How do I need to change that so that I'm not compressing in my joint space, so that I'm not giving my body more pain? And pain is like a warning signal. So there's different types of pain. If you've been in pain for a long while, then you've got that, this is not a good pain. And then there's that, oh, I feel that pain. I've not felt it there before. And that's like, oh my God, she's woken up muscles that I didn't know I had. So I often like to joke with my clients and say, we had the advert of Heineken reaches the parts that other beers cannot reach. It's like, I will help you reach those parts of the body that you just have forgotten that are there. So that really you have a good core, not just abdominals, but that strength comes from the inside outside. And if you want to go to a yoga class, or I have a few people who yoga's very postures, so you hold different body positions, and it's a great activity, and it's good in terms of mindfulness, and there's a very spiritual side of it. Pilates is different because we do exercises, so you're not holding postures or poses, but it's becoming really aware of how you're moving and where you're moving from. Can you move this bit and keep everything else still, or is everything joining in with you? And then with Zumba, it's, that is more energy. I have some people and they're like, oh, well, I don't know my right from my left. I'm like, okay, there's 4 things for me personally that you need to do in a Zumba class. Breathe, that's the first thing. Smile, that's the second thing. Just wiggle and have fun. It's like, if you manage the same arm and leg as me, bonus, fantastic. But it's just about having fun and moving. I keep the sequences and the moves really simple, because then I have to think less and I can have fun with you.
We take health, we take the way we feel for granted. We take an awful lot of things for granted, but particularly the way we feel and our health. And yet we almost go to the wellness professionals after we've found we've got a problem, or when we think it's serious enough that you have to do it. That's obviously not the right thing to do.
Definitely. So one of the ladies that I work with has been working with this little ball. She's been melting with me for about a year or so now. And so a good example is she would wake up and regularly feel stiff and tight in the mornings. And one of her first, maybe not first, but one of the things that she would do in the morning is take some aspirin just to help with the aches and pains. And then now, doing her melting regularly, she doesn't wake up in pain, doesn't have to take those tablets to keep her out of pain.
What I've learned from today is that there's 2 types of people. There's one type of person that needs the regular discipline of regular exercise and movement by attending the class. But there are others that maybe don't necessarily want that commitment or discipline, but want to get to grips with their issue, that the doctor is only giving them, and it's no criticism of doctors, they have a limited amount of time, and it's easier to give them a tablet or prescription. But if those prescriptions are not working, or the person doesn't want to take prescriptions for whatever issue, they would be as well to talk to you, because you could actually advise them from a self-help point of view. That example you gave of the lady with the ball, you really are saying, look, let's get together, let's sort out, let me help you understand the issue, and this is what you can do on your own.
Yeah, so for me, that's, that is key. Whether it's just a case of you have a conversation with me and you're like, oh, okay, now I understand and know a bit more. I think I'm going to go and look at this practitioner. Everything that I've learned, I will use all of that information. I've put together some online courses for midlife hormone health and fitness. So when you're 35 onwards, you start going through hormonal changes, and then you don't really notice those until maybe you get to 45, and then you get perimenopause, menopause. But as females, it's just something that's off in the distance, and I don't have to think about that now until you do, or unless you have early perimenopause. So I've done some training and courses and use that information to help people as well. But yeah, you get those people who just want to go and do the exercise class and don't really want to think about how they're moving or if it's actually helping, or do too much to change their lifestyle. I only see you for like maybe an hour a week. So for me, my job is to help you move better, and help you understand how this is going to help you and why this has helped you. And then your job is to take that information and then how can you transfer it to the other aspects of your life. And then you'll get more benefits. So it's like the more we work together, it's a two-way thing. The more you want to help yourself, and then my job is to guide you. And if I don't know the information or I'm not sure, then I will reach out to people that know a little bit more about it, or my colleagues, find out the information, come back to you with it, or I'll go, I'm not sure, let me pass you on to this person, try an osteopath. So there are always different options. And then maybe you then go, I have one lady who's started with me for knee and neck pain. And then a few months ago, having worked with me for about 4 months, she's like, oh, I've started working with a personal trainer. Do you mind? And I'm like, no. I'm like, if that's what you need to help you, as long as you put everything I've taught you about your body and listening. She's like, yeah, and I see what they're doing, and then I adapt it so that it's right for me. I'm like, perfect. To me, that is perfect.
I have some experience in the wellness industry. You mentioned about osteopaths, chiropractors, etc. Are there any other wellness, in what circumstances would they refer business to you? And is there any other professional that you work closely with?
So yes, at our Wells studio, we have a pelvic health specialist. So if I have somebody that I've been working with and they've got any pelvic health issues, so either they're not feeling it in their pelvic floor, or it might be leaky. There's all those like tenor adverts at the moment with, have your thin pad, wear your tenor pants, and it's like, that's really good. I'm all for that, but at the same time, you don't just have to just rely on the pants and the pads. It's like, get your pelvic health looked at. It doesn't mean to say that your pelvic muscles are, baggy and saggy. It could be that they're just over tensed, and actually you need to learn to relax your pelvic floor. So we work with a pelvic health specialist. My colleague works with ladies pregnant and post pregnancy. I'm also trained to be able to do that as well. If people have been to osteopath or chiropractor, they may then be told you need to do some Pilates to help yourself. And so they would get referred to me there. And then doctors. So again, the doctor might refer people to Pilates. Not all doctors really understand or know about Pilates. It might be, we've got Central Somerset Physio that work up in the Wells studio where I am in the South Horrington, and we may refer people. So if we do the initial assessment and I've screened or done a movement and I'm like, okay, I'm not sure, I know there's something going on there, but actually I think you need someone who can diagnose and give you more information. If you're looking for a diagnosis, then you need to see somebody who can diagnose you, and that's where we work with the physio. So it might be that they come to me, they've injured themselves, and then they'll go and see the physio, get some rehabilitation, then come back. Often I'll get clients that have done that, and then they come back and they go, the physio's given me these exercises. I'm not sure if I'm doing it right, or they might have seen a physio somewhere else and they're like, I get more benefit out of what you tell me and helping me understand how do I know if I'm doing these physio exercises correctly? Because again, like the doctors, they may not have a lot of time for you to help you understand how you're doing it and why you're doing it. If you're the curious type of person that's like, well, why?
One last question. I could be accused of thinking that this is primarily for women. Is that the case?
I work with men and women, a variety of different ages. Interestingly, although Pilates was created by a gentleman, Joseph Pilates, and he worked in gyms in America. He created it from working in in an intern hospital. A lot of women seem to come and do Pilates, but there are quite a few guys, and actually the number of gentlemen taking up Pilates or doing Pilates, I would say, particularly in the last 5 years, I've really seen an increase. Um, if you want to love living in your body and just keep enjoying going for those long walks, doing those bike rides, but it's just starting to feel a little uncomfortable being in your body, then reach out for some help.
I can see that there's going to be great benefit in people that know that they need to move, know that they need to take care of themselves. I believe they will have great benefit, not only in maybe rewatching this, but maybe going onto your website, and I'll put the details on the final video, and maybe picking up the phone and talking to yourself.
Yeah, definitely. So I welcome anybody who wants to liaise or talk with me. And if you're considering, well, do I need to change anything? I've actually done some online mini courses, which is like, am I happy with my health and well-being? So like a little check me out. Do I really need to make any changes? So you can do that, those free online courses. And then, am I really ready to make a change? What does that mean? So again, there's another little free mini course that I have so people can go, okay, well, what do I need to think about?
It's all very well people say you should walk more or you should, go along to a gym, but you can be intimidated by the fact that you are completely out of fitness and out of sorts. So obviously you sound as if you're the person to go to on that, and seem very sympathetic. So thank you very much indeed, Zoisa. I look forward to talking to you again.
And thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the lovely sunny weather.
Thank you. May it last for a long time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.